Welcome back to the Sunny Stampin' Studio. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use Stampin' Up's new shimmery paint as an overlay to your stamped images to give them a beautiful shimmery finish. So this is the card that I'm going to demonstrate today. Why don't we get started? First thing you're going to need to do is grab a piece of very vanilla cardstock that's 4 by 5¼ inches. I've also got some soft suede classic ink and a wedge of stamping sponge. And I'm just going to start by lightly sponging the edges. As you can see, when I do this, I grasp my cardstock in my left hand and I just lightly pounce my sponge on my ink pad to get a little bit of ink, and then I just drag it along the edges, like that. Next thing you're going to need to do is grab some Dotto adhesive and place a small amount on the back, and then stick it to your grid paper. And I'm just using my grid lines to help align it so that it's straight. Now I've already set up my imaging sheet with my Season's Greetings image, and I'm going to align my Stamp-A-Majig T-tool with the imaging sheet. I'm going to ink up my stamp in soft suede, and then very carefully stamp my greeting on my very vanilla cardstock. Now what I'm going to do is take this and flip it upside down. Just like that. You're going to need Stampin' Up's medallion background stamp and some ruby red classic ink. And what you want to do is take your ink pad and you just want to press it all over your image. Now, when you're doing this, you just want to make sure that you finish off once you've done inking it by patting it, just to get rid of any streak marks, because this is such a big image. So just take a look. Once you've done that, make sure you've got it well inked up. And I'm just going to lay that on top of my image there for a second. I've got an old button container with a sponge dauber that I've previously used with this ruby red ink. I've also got my Champagne Mist shimmer paint. So you want to give it a good shake, and then what I'm going to do is just pour a very small amount in the lid of my container, and then I'm just going to grab the excess with my fingertip off the edge. So what you want to do is take your sponge dauber and you just want to lightly pounce it, and then you just want to start pouncing your image like so. And you're essentially going to pounce wherever you want the shimmer to be. So if you just want it on the outer portion of the medallion, then that's all you would ink up with the shimmer paint. If you wanted it on the whole thing, then you just pounce the whole thing. Now the nice thing is it doesn't have to be perfect coverage of the dye ink underneath, because if some of it does show through, it adds some nice variation in color. As you can see, I didn't actually put very much shimmer paint on the lid of my button container, but that little amount covered my entire medallion. So once you've done that, you can just set that aside and grab your medallion. And I'm now going to tilt my head to the side so that I can see where my medallion is going to be positioned. And once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to carefully put it down and then just press down firmly. And then you just lift it off, like so. Now, once you've done that, you're going to very carefully peel it off your paper, and you can turn it in the right direction this time. And I'm going to grab another medallion that I previously stamped and let dry, and I'm going to grab my 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and I'm going to want to punch out just the center portion. Now if your punch doesn't slide all the way in, you can just trim off some of your cardstock until you can in and centered. So you can see I've punched that out like so. Now I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm also going to need to grab that pearl that went bouncing across my studio floor. And this is the largest halfback cream pearl from my Pretties kit. And I'm just pressing it onto some mini glue dots to pick up one mini glue dot, and I'm just going to very carefully place it at the center of my circle like so. Once you've done that, you can then grab some Stampin' Dimensionals and put them on the back like so. Now before I go ahead and stick that down, I'm just going to flip that over and grab my snail adhesive and put some of that on the back, and I'm going to center it on a piece of ruby red cardstock that's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to flip that over, put some more snail adhesive on the back, and center that onto my soft suede card front. Now this is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock that I folded in half using my bone folder. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and take the backing off your dimensionals, and then you can just center this round piece on your card. And there you have it. It's hard to see on the picture, but if you look at it in real life, it has an absolutely gorgeous sheen to it. So there's another fun, easy technique you can use with Stampin' Up! Shimmer paint. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I look forward to stamping with you again.